Why I wish I hadn't transitioned to a care facility. 6 difficult realities you need to understand. Wisdom of the elderly. At 82, I've gained a wealth of experience, yet there's one choice I truly wish I could change: relocating to a nursing facility. In that moment, it appeared to be the most appropriate decision. My family supported the decision, assuring me that I would receive all the necessary care and comfort. I placed my trust in them. However, upon my arrival, I discovered that the actual situation was far removed from my expectations. I understand that many of you may be considering this choice, either for yourselves or for someone dear to you. Perhaps you believe it's the most prudent choice, or maybe you've received advice suggesting it will simplify your life. Before you make that decision, I'd like to share 6 insights I wish I had received prior to my move. The reality is, residing in a care facility is not merely about ease. It transforms every aspect of life. Once you enter, exiting is not as straightforward as it may seem. Stick around until the conclusion, as some of these insights may catch you off guard. If you know someone contemplating a nursing home, this video could provide the essential insights they need before making such a significant choice. Let's begin our journey. One thing I truly regret is the loss of my independence. The most surprising aspect of transitioning to a nursing home wasn't the compact living space, the scheduled meal times, or the presence of new faces. I came to understand that I had relinquished authority over my own existence. Prior to my relocation, I maintained my established routines. I took charge of my schedule, determining my wake-up time, meal times, and daily activities. I had the freedom to stroll at my leisure, prepare my own dishes, or simply relax in my cherished chair with a good book. However, within the confines of the nursing home, I soon understood that my time was no longer under my control. Everything operated according to a timetable that didn't align with my own. Breakfast occurred at a designated hour, regardless of my appetite. The lights were turned off at a designated time, regardless of my preparedness for sleep. Would you like to enjoy a stroll outdoors? It may be necessary to obtain authorization, and you will likely need to wait until assistance is accessible. Basic decisions such as selecting a meal or choosing an outfit began to feel more like luxuries than fundamental options. I recall my initial week, rising in a bed that seemed unfamiliar. I propped myself up, extended my limbs, and grabbed the book I had been enjoying at home. As I surveyed the room, a realization struck me. This place didn't feel like home to me. The cherished books, my beloved chair, and the small comforts I had dedicated years to gathering have vanished. In their absence stood clinical walls, a bed. I was not given a choice. In a sensation I couldn't dismiss, I felt as though I had lost control over my own existence. The most challenging aspect? Understanding that relinquishing your autonomy makes reclaiming it nearly unattainable. You adjust because it's necessary. The discussion comes to a halt once the dinner menu is revealed. You cease inquiring about the possibility of taking a walk at your convenience. You adapt to their framework, yet along the way you begin to lose your own identity. If you're contemplating a nursing home, reflect on whether you're prepared to relinquish the little freedoms that define your life. Because when they are no longer present, the absence will be felt more deeply than you could have ever imagined. Regret as well, experiencing a sense of being overlooked. One of the most challenging realities of transitioning to a nursing facility is coming to terms with the fact that life beyond its walls continues to progress without your participation. Upon my arrival, my family provided comforting words, promising that they would come to see me frequently. I had faith in them, and initially they delivered. My daughter visited me weekly. My grandchildren come to see me on weekends. For a brief moment it seemed as though I maintained a link to my previous existence. However, over time, the appointments dwindled in frequency. My daughter has begun to reach out via phone rather than visiting in person. My grandchildren have become quite occupied with their educational pursuits and professional commitments. The holiday season presented the greatest challenges. There were assurances from everyone about their attendance, yet it seemed that arrangements frequently shifted unexpectedly at the final hour. In that moment, I realized I was seated alone, in a shared space, observing fellow residents fixate on the entrance, each silently wishing that today might be the day they were acknowledged. It wasn't that my family ceased to care for me. Life has simply intervened. When you're not present on a daily basis, it's common for others to think that everything is okay, that you're managing well, and that you require less support. However, the reality is that the more time spent in a nursing facility, the more likely it is for individuals to overlook the extent of your ongoing needs. One evening, I found myself in my room, phone in hand, contemplating the decision to reach out to my son. I aimed to avoid being a source of concern. I preferred not to bring to his attention my presence, lingering for a visit that could remain elusive. As I set the phone aside, the realization struck me. This is the current state of my existence. Observing the passage of time, wishing for acknowledgement and inclusion. Before considering a transition to a nursing facility, reflect on whether you are ready to face potential feelings of isolation. Regardless of the affection your family holds for you, once you are no longer in their presence, it can be surprisingly simple to fade from their thoughts. If you are still engaged with this video and appreciating the insights provided, kindly comment with the number 2 below to indicate your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you stay updated with all our videos. Let's proceed to the next steps. Regret 3. The loss of my sense of direction. Upon relocating to the nursing facility, I believed I was merely altering my residence. I wasn't aware that my reasons for living were also evolving. At home, I had various obligations to manage. I maintained structured routines, engaged in fulfilling hobbies, and found purpose each day upon waking. Even the little tasks like watering the plants, brewing my own coffee, and organizing my space provided me with a meaningful sense of direction. However, within the nursing home, those daily routines faded away. Meals were prepared for me. The cleaning was performed by another individual. The plants, it seems, were no longer my responsibility to tend to. Initially, I reassured myself that it would be beneficial to take some time to unwind, leave behind the burdens of daily tasks and obligations, and embrace a time for relaxation. However, after a few weeks, I came to the realization that something was lacking. The hours seemed to drag on, elongated by a sense of anticipation and inactivity. I observed it among other residents as well. Individuals who were once vibrant and active now find themselves in a state of inactivity, merely sitting and gazing as they let time drift by. There was an individual named George, aged 84, who dedicated his entire career to the craft of carpentry. At home, he consistently engaged in repairs and crafted various projects in his garage. However, in this situation, there were no resources, no initiatives, and nothing available for him to develop. I observed as he gradually retracted his hands, once adept and capable, now resting motionless in his lap. He confided in me one day, expressing a sense of worthlessness. I completely understood his point. When you find yourself without a purpose or a goal to strive for, the essence of life begins to fade. The mind decelerates, and the body naturally aligns with it. Before long, you may find yourself feeling like just another inhabitant in a setting where time passes, yet nothing truly evolves. If you're contemplating a nursing home, reflect on what brings purpose to your life. Once you settle in, discovering a sense of purpose isn't merely about occupying your time. It's about striving to preserve the elements that invigorate your spirit. Concern over the rapid decline in health has become a significant issue. Prior to my transition to a nursing facility, I was managing quite well considering my age. I may not have been competing in marathons, but I was still capable of managing my own well-being. Engage in regular walks and prepare my own meals. I maintained my daily habits that ensured I stayed active, such as grocery shopping, morning stretches, and simply walking around my home to strengthen my legs. However, after I settled in, everything transformed. Initially, it appeared that I was merely relaxing. Food was delivered to me, allowing me to avoid the effort of cooking in the kitchen. If I required assistance, I could simply press a button and support would be on the way. However, I was unaware that by neglecting my own needs, I was diminishing my strength. I became less active, and before long I noticed an increase in stiffness in my legs. I found myself sitting more often than I used to, and before long rising from a chair began to feel like a daunting task. The strength I had dedicated years to preserving was fading away more rapidly than I could have anticipated. It wasn't solely my experience. I have observed similar occurrences with others as well. Individuals who once moved independently were unexpectedly dependent on wheelchairs. Individuals who were once self-sufficient now found themselves requiring assistance with tasks that had previously posed no challenges. The greater the assistance provided, the more it appeared we required it. I recall my neighbor Alice, the Prunedwizeris Chibirisirutungchum, a vibrant 81-year-old woman who brought energy with her when she first moved in. She consistently took daily walks around the facility, firmly believing that age would not dictate her pace. However, after several months I observed that her mobility had decreased significantly. Subsequently, she began utilizing a walker, followed by transitioning to a wheelchair. One day she turned to me and expressed, "I can't pinpoint when it occurred, but it feels as though I've aged a decade in just a matter of months." That is precisely the sensation it evoked. When you cease to engage with your physical self, you begin to diminish its capabilities. In a nursing home, where the environment is tailored for ease, it's important to remember that movement transcends mere convenience. It is fundamentally linked to well-being and vitality. If I had realized how swiftly my strength would diminish, I would have made a greater effort to remain active, to keep moving and to challenge myself, even during those times when motivation waned. If you're contemplating a nursing facility, reflect on whether you'll maintain the drive to stay physically active when your environment is designed for ease and convenience. Once you take a step back, regaining your momentum can be more challenging than anticipated. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating the insights shared, kindly comment with the number 4 below to indicate your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to ensure you stay updated with all our videos. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and motivates you. Let's proceed with our next steps. I deeply regret the loss of privacy and dignity. One aspect I hadn't fully contemplated prior to relocating to a nursing facility was the significant amount of privacy I would forfeit. In my residence, I enjoyed a personal area. I could shut my bedroom door, embrace the quiet if I chose, and engage in activities at my own pace. In a nursing facility, maintaining privacy can often feel like an unattainable luxury. Upon my arrival, I sensed a continuous observation, with staff frequently entering and exiting, regular room inspections, and communal areas where solitude was a rarity. Even basic tasks such as dressing or utilizing the restroom frequently necessitated support from another individual. I understand they were fulfilling their responsibilities, but it can be quite challenging to receive assistance for tasks you've managed on your own for so long. I recall my initial week grappling with the notion that I needed to seek approval for actions I previously undertook instinctively. Would you like to take a shower? There may be a brief wait until assistance becomes available. Do you require a moment to visit the restroom? At times, activating the call button can lead to a longer wait than anticipated. The options for meals were quite restricted. If the options available don't suit your taste today, unfortunately, that's just how it is. Then we encountered the matter of roommates. Not everyone is afforded the luxury of a private room, and having to share a space with an unselected roommate can certainly lead to feelings of frustration. I had the privilege of sharing my space with a considerate roommate, yet I've come across accounts from others who faced less favorable situations. Some experienced living situations with roommates who were disruptive, untidy, or faced cognitive challenges that rendered restful sleep nearly unattainable. Regardless of your efforts to create a sense of belonging in your space, it will always lack that personal touch. The loss of dignity is a profound experience, and it wasn't until I found myself in that situation that I understood the extent of what I had to give up. When individuals enter without waiting for a response, when you're addressed as if you're merely a case rather than an individual, when your daily activities are governed by a timetable you didn't establish, it transforms you. You begin to sense a shift, feeling less like your true self and more like just another entry on a roster. If you're contemplating a nursing home, reflect on whether you're ready to relinquish the privacy and autonomy you've enjoyed throughout your life. Because once it's lost, it can be challenging to regain. Regret 6. Understanding that parting ways is often more challenging than anticipated. Upon my initial arrival at the nursing home, I reassured myself that this was just a short-term situation. I decided to take the opportunity and observe the outcomes. If it didn't suit me, I always had the option to walk away. However, I was unaware of the significant challenges I would face in trying to exit once I became involved. Initially, it appeared straightforward. If it wasn't to my liking, I would simply return home. However, the environment at home had changed significantly. My home remained unoccupied, and overseeing its upkeep from afar proved to be quite challenging. My children had begun to implement changes, selling items they believed I wouldn't require, and even contemplating the idea of renting out the property. When I proposed the idea of coming back, there was some reluctance. Do you feel confident in your ability to handle things independently? Isn't it wiser to remain here? Our primary focus is your well-being. And then there was the concern regarding physical deterioration. After months of residing in an environment where cooking, cleaning, and even walking long distances were not part of my routine, I found that my strength had diminished compared to what it once was. The autonomy I once enjoyed began to fade, rendering the prospect of returning home more challenging than I had ever anticipated. I lacked confidence in my capacity to live independently, and that apprehension held me back. I encountered individuals who shared similar experiences. They decided to give the nursing home a chance for a short period, but soon discovered that exiting was more complicated than they had anticipated. The more time you spend here, the more challenging it becomes to transition back to life beyond these walls. Some individuals have completely lost the option altogether. Once their residence was sold or their financial resources were depleted by the expenses of care, there was no turning back. That's the aspect that often goes unmentioned. Relocating may seem like a choice that can be undone, yet for many individuals it truly isn't. The nursing home gradually envelops your existence, and before long, the vibrant life you once experienced begins to fade into a distant recollection. If you're contemplating a nursing home, reflect on whether you're ready for the reality that, once you enter, exiting may not be as straightforward as you imagine. Once you become established, the obstacles to departure, be they financial, physical, or emotional, can prove to be more challenging to navigate than you might anticipate. If you're still engaged with this video and appreciating these insights, kindly comment number 6 below to indicate your presence. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to stay updated with all our videos. Your assistance enables us to keep producing valuable content that educates and motivates you. Salutations to Mother. Concluding reflections. Reflecting on my journey, I embrace the passage of time, yet I wish I hadn't thought that a care facility was my sole choice. I entered with the anticipation of finding reassurance, security, and an enhanced standard of living. What I discovered instead was an environment that gradually eroded my autonomy, my confidentiality, my sense of direction, and even my identity. Does that imply that all nursing homes are negative? That may not be the case. Certain individuals truly require the degree of support that is offered. Before finalizing your choice, take a moment to reflect on what you might be sacrificing. Once you settle in, everything will transform. If given the chance to revisit my decisions, I would have advocated more vigorously for my independence, sought out additional resources to maintain my autonomy, and ensured that my need for relocation was absolutely necessary before committing to such a lasting change. If you find yourself in this situation, I encourage you to reflect on whether this choice is genuinely in your best interest, or is it merely what appears to be the most convenient option at this moment? Your current life, including your routines, independence, and choices, is invaluable and should be preserved for as long as possible. We appreciate your presence with us today. We look forward to your feedback. We invite you to share your insights in the comments below. What is one valuable lesson you gained today? And how do you intend to apply it moving forward? Your insights are valuable, so please feel free to express them. Your feedback provides us with significant motivation and encouragement. If you found this video beneficial and enjoyable, we would appreciate your support through likes, subscriptions, and shares. Your support enables us to keep producing valuable content that informs and motivates you. Thank you for tuning in, and we eagerly anticipate your presence in our upcoming video.